Hello, and welcome to another episode of K-tein, telling everything in nuance. So, first off, as you can see on my screen, I am right now playing Super Kirby Clash. I actually kind of like this game since it's I like this game because it's a pick up and play game where you can pick it up, play it for a second, put it right back down. It is apparently a Kirby game that's more of a boss rush, so you're put into battles against big enemies, and you're usually teamed up with 3 other people, and you have classes in rows. The class I roll with is the Dr. Humor class. This class has it all, as far as I'm concerned. They're the truth. We have iframes, we got projectiles, we got tag teams, we got healing. We pretty much got it all except health. Once we take a hit, we're out of there. We're done. We're knocked out. Coach, put me on the bench because I'm tired. So yeah, that is definitely what I want with in this game. Now, you may possibly hear, maybe I sound much clearer. I can't say it for myself. But right now, I'm currently using a mic that a relative lent to me. I am basically field testing it to figure out if I want this mic for myself for future episodes and projects. Speaking of projects, I've been doing a lot more work on the Phantom Breaker Wikipedia. I am about maybe 70% done with the Mikoto page, so we're making progress in that front. And speaking of Mikoto, or rather speaking of Phantom Breaker, let me talk about that for a bit. So the game's coming out. Very much looking forward to it. Very much happy about it. Gonna potentially get it on all consoles, but I'm primarily focusing on the PC and the Switch. PC because that's just usually my main platform, and then Switch because training mode on the go, so I can always be able to play my game and whatnot. But there's a few concerns I have. One, we just only got the date of 2021, as far as I'm concerned, on Rocket Panda's page, which, well, doesn't really give us any really true estimate. They're just saying this game basically may come out next year. But now I don't want to basically come to any conclusion or make any assumptions, but cause basically just getting a release date, not a firm release date. I'm pretty much brought way back into the 2011 days where we're told, hey, Phantom Breaker coming out to the West around this time. Look forward to it. And well, that never happened. So I'll be admit if I'm a bit concerned to not having a full release date, but maybe the game really does need to keep cooking and whatnot. Even though we had a trailer, even though that trailer really didn't show too much gameplay, so I kind of feel where people are on that matter. But yeah, well, looking forward to the game. Hope I can see more about it and get excited and hype up for that and whatnot. The next thing on my mind though is FGC people. Yeah, tell me, or rather, the consensus that seems to be the majority, or rather, it seems to be constantly said from the FGC that we'll support anything with rollback net play. You guys did that with Fire Animals. I see you did that with the SNK games. I got it, and people are definitely doing it for the Guilty Gear rollback, which was recently announced, which is all nice and cool and dandy. But one of my first kind of questions I do have to ask is, where were you guys when Punch Planet had rollback, when Omen of Sorrow had rollback, when Acceleration Saguri, Maiden and Spell, Dual Souls has it now, or excuse me, is it Dual Blaze? I know they're also known by Slasher the Power Battle, but yeah, where were you guys when these had rollback? Now these games had rollback before we got into this pandemic situation, but yeah. So let me ask you guys: do you truly care about rollback because you actually care for rollback, or because we're in a pandemic and you guys can go to locals? Because if you guys really worry about the rollback struggle and about supporting games that does rollback, where were you guys? Tell me your experience with Pocket Rumble. Tell me your experience with Golden Fantasia. Because I'm part of these discourse. I more or less in the lurking phase because I bounce between games a lot. But I can tell right now, those games' activity are more or less minimal, or rather, the usual people who stick by their game and play their game, who are that loyalists, yeah, they're there. I see them there, but where are these other people? Where was the support for those games? But yeah, I guess this is where the FGC really is. They care about Road Pack when it's their game, not when it's any other game. Any other game, they can be whatever. Apparently, that's what I'm getting from the FGC side. Which, even I'll admit this, I'm not going to say that you also need to support rollback because if a product has rollback, you don't need to support it. No, but rather, if you're going to say, oh, I'm not interested in XYZ product because it doesn't have rollback, I'm pretty much going to call you full of it. I'm pretty sure you got that full of it because if rollback was the main reason for why you guys want to support a product, why hide the products that did have rollback? You didn't support it at all. Just say, oh, well, you don't say just say, rather, I would prefer the people to be honest and not have the hypocrisy of the FGC. But hypocrisy seems kind of rough in the Let me not say that. I'll take that back. It just seems that the double standard is prevalent with the FGC in some things. For starters, let's look at the Street Fighter V. That does have rollback, but it implemented poorly. And you had a fan to even fix that game, or rather a fan of dress and fix the game. But not even that, you had even other people who did rollback comment saying, hey, this game's rollback is not really in the best place, and we think we have an idea why, but people are still supporting it. People are still saying we need to have Street Fighter 5, and yet, look how you guys are treated from Street Fighter 5. Look how you're treated by Capcom. They just did another update that claims to make adjustment to Street Fighter 5, but it seems that majority people say it hasn't really done anything, and yet you guys are still supporting it. So, from what I guess the main point I want to get to after everything is, I don't really think that these people say they support rollback. It's rather they support the product that they love. They only care about if the game they care about has rollback. And you know what? That is fine. That is cool if that is your prerogative. But don't say, oh, I support anything with rollback when that's not the case. It's rather you care about the product you love having rollback. Which, fine. That's cool. I have products that I get, sorry. As a fighting game consumer myself and connoisseur, as I personally want to call myself, I get fighting game because I'm just genuinely interested in fighting it. If it has rollback, glorious, great. But if it doesn't, I'm still interested in that game because I'm interested to see how it plays, how it holds up, and how it compares to other games, what are its different mechanics and whatnot. That's how I personally operate when it comes to me and fighting games myself. So yeah. Yeah, so I think that might be it. Thank you for tuning in. Let me know how the mic sounds, and let's get these games.